Hello, I'm Brad Phillips here with Puppy Steps Training, and today we've got Colter in the crate with us. We're going to be showing off his training, doing his demonstration for you. Very excited to send Colter to you. He's a very fun little dog. He has plenty of energy, so just be prepared. He's going to need exercise, and he's going to need plenty of things to chew on and things to just preoccupy his mind, because he does have a little bit of that higher energy, and he loves to be active. He loves to be training. He's very involved in whatever you're doing. So very excited to send him to you. I think you guys are going to adore him. He is a very good puppy. So just to give you a rundown of the way that this demonstration is going to go. So first, we're going to pull him out of the crate and go through his manners. So this is what we're going to focus on these next 3 days as he decompresses. The manners are how we establish our expectations and we start to build our relationship. Then we'll go over our obedience commands and our leash work. So over the next 3 days, you can still do the commands, you can do the walks and recall and all of that, but we do want to take it easy. We want to first and foremost build our relationship with Colter, help him understand what our expectations are before we start pushing him in these commands. I don't want to set him up for failure or set him up in a situation where he can get frustrated. Instead, I really want to focus on helping him understand what your expectations are and building that relationship with you. So manners, then we'll do obedience commands, then leash work. So the first manner that we are going to show you is Colter's doorways. So anytime we go through a closed door together, so whether that's an exterior door or we go through a gate outside or Colter coming out of his crate, I expect Colter to hold an automatic stay. So I don't actually have to tell him stay. My expectation is that he just knows before he can cross that threshold, he's got to wait to be released. So okay being that release word. Now, I don't care what position Colter's in. He doesn't need to be sitting, laying down. He can be standing. He just needs to show that he is in control and he is patiently waiting for me to release him. Now, if Colter ever bursts through that doorway, I am going to tell him no, go and get him and have him do it again. I don't want Colter thinking that if he's fast enough or if he's sneaky enough, he can get away with ignoring this behavior. Now, your home, your rules, you can create this expectation with any doorway or any threshold in your home. Bare minimum though, make sure that you expect this behavior at every exterior door as well as coming out of the crate. So I'm going to pull Colter out right now. I'm going to hook a leash on him, and you're going to see him demonstrate this behavior coming out of the crate. And then I am going to have Colter ring the bells, so you'll be able to see him ring the bells, and then take him outside to go to the bathroom. So you'll also be able to see the threshold of going through that exterior door. Now, if Colter tried to come out of that crate, even if he just stuck one paw out, I am going to tell him no and close that door. If he tried to burst through this exterior door, one, I'll have the leash attached so I can correct him that way, but I can also lift my leg and block him if needs be. So, once again, I'm not going to tell him to stay. This is just an expected behavior. Okay, good boy. Now, anytime there's new distractions, or maybe you know somebody's on the other side of the door, I'm not just going to fling a door open. Instead, I want to, halfway in the back of my mind, expect like, hey, maybe he's going to break. If I know that there's a new distraction, there's a chance he's going to break, so I would rather set myself up for success, maybe open that door slowly just to make sure he's stable before backing away. And then once he shows that he's in control, I can say, okay, and let him through. Hey, come here. So now we're going to have him ring these bells. So I'm going to stand here and stare at them. Okay, outside, good boy. And now we're going to go outside. So same expectation. He doesn't need to sit, he doesn't need to lay down. He just needs to show that he is in control. Okay, good boy. Okay, so same expectation coming in. I don't want him thinking he can just break through that doorway. I don't want him taking out my legs. I want him to show that he's in control and he's calm, and then I can release him through. Once again, your home, your rules. Create this with any threshold you would like. Bare minimum though, exterior doors as well as the crate. We've been doing it with any closed door that we go through. Huh, good boy. Okay, so the next manner I'm going to show you is our greeting, which is what he's doing right here. We have taught Colter if he wants my attention or if I call him over, he needs to sit in order to get it. So if I said, Colter, come here. When he comes over, he sits down. Good boy. Good boy. Now this is a replacement behavior for jumping. So he's showing once again that he can be calm and in control. He's waiting politely for me, and then I can give him that attention. So this is a behavior that we've already started kind of weaning some treats off. So instead of a food reward, he gets my attention. However, for the next week, I want you to reward this behavior anytime he offers it. We really want to help him understand that the same expectation applies for you as it does for us. Hey, you're also going to practice an exercise that I'm going to show you over the next 3 days, 3 to 4 times a day. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your treat bag, which I'm sending you, get some treats. Hey, you're going to put the leash on Colter, and we're just going to practice having him sit when called. So I'll take this leash, I'm going to say his name, take a few steps backwards, wait for him to sit, and I'll say, okay, give him that treat. I'm going to do this 3 times. So it's going to look like this. Colter, I'm going to step back. He sits. Okay, good boy. Colter. Okay, good boy. Colter. Now on the third one, okay, good boy. Then I'll go ahead and also pet him. Now that one, he kind of got a little overly excited, so I'm going to have him do it again. Colter. Now, I want Colter to be soft when he takes treats, and I want all 4 paws on the ground. So if he kind of rears up again, I'm going to take that treat away and say gently. Okay, good boy. So I want him to be calm and in control. He doesn't have to remain sitting after I say okay, because that releases him. It tells him he did the right thing, and then I'm going to love on him. But that doesn't mean that he can rear up or he can get all crazy, or it also doesn't mean that he can quickly grab the treat out of my hand. I still want him to be calm, and I want him to be very polite. And sometimes Colter, when he gets very excited, he can have a little bit of a hard mouth, so I'll fill his teeth. So the way that I work on that is once again, that gently command, I'll pull that treat away and I don't let him have it unless he's under control and he's being polite. But I also like to give him the treat in the palm of my hand and I cover it with my thumb. So that way I can control when Colter gets the treat. If I'm filling teeth, I'm gonna, no, gently, I can pull it away. I can also use my fingers to close his mouth. Gently, see that? Nope. Good, okay. Then when he's using his tongue or his lips, I can release that, tell him he's being a good boy. We've also been practicing giving him a treat between my thumb and forefinger. However, this isn't the best way to give a puppy a treat. It's just asking him to bite your fingers, but I can tell him gently, good boy, and expect him to be very polite. Good boy. Now, I want to really make sure that this behavior is ingrained into him and he understands that you do have the same expectation that we do. So people that are going to have regular contact with Colter, like daily contact, should do that exercise that I just showed you. With other family members, we can do a variation where you hold the end of the leash and we walk up and they can call Colter's name, or you can even have Colter sit for you and then they can come up and love on him. But if he ever gets out of control, I'm going to tell him no and get a little distance from that person. This is also what I do with strangers on the street. Because when you're walking Colter, you're going to have people say, oh my gosh, your dog is so cute, can I pet him? And 95% of the time, I want you to say no. So the polite way to do that is just say, no, he's training, have him sit for you, engage with you, let that person pass by. If there's another dog with him, we're going to move to the side of the road, put myself between him and the other dog, engage with him, have them go by. So I want to make a habit of not letting Colter greet everybody on the street, because then you're going to get a dog that thinks that he needs to meet everybody, and then he's pulling or he's barking, he's getting reactive because he thinks every new person is there to see him. Now there are going to be times where you run into somebody you know, or it's somebody that you're okay with them meeting Colter. So when I do that, come here, I do something very similar to what I just described. Hey, come here, on this side. So I'm going to tell them yes, but Colter needs to be in control. And I will walk Colter up. We're gonna stop 5 or 6 feet short. I'm gonna have Colter sit for me, tell him he's a good boy, and then invite that person up. But if Colter gets out of control at all, he starts jumping, he's overly excited, I'm gonna tell him no, and we're gonna walk away. We're gonna get a little bit of distance, even if that's just 10 feet. We're gonna get some distance, help him regain his control, and then we can try again. But if he can't be calm, he doesn't get to meet them. And this is why I say, 95% of the time, don't let him meet other people, because it's hard to correct your dog in front of people you know as well as people you don't know. And so then he gets away with being out of control. The other thing is you're gonna have people that go down and pet him, he's gonna start jumping up, you're gonna go to correct him and they're gonna say, no, it's okay, I love dogs. And then he gets rewarded for jumping on people. So having him meet other people on the street honestly does far less good for your manners than it benefits him. So, make it a habit of just telling people no and focusing on yours and Colter's relationship. So that's our greeting. As I mentioned, it is a replacement behavior for jumping. Come here. So if Colter did jump, I'm gonna step into him and bring my knee up and tell him no, off. So I correct him as well as accompanied it with a command. Honestly, you can use those interchangeably, so don't get too worked up. Hey, no. With whether you said no, off, or just no. Any variation works, but he does not get to jump up. Colter, this has been one of the biggest and hardest behaviors for him to overcome. He's a little guy and he's very excited and very food driven, so he likes to rear up. So I've been correcting it. I've even started correcting him even if he's just jumping off to the side. Because before, that's like a gray area with some dogs. It's like, oh, you're excited, so you're hopping, and he's not putting paws on me. But now, for how much he liked to jump, I've shut that one down too, where I will step into him and tell him no, off. That goes along with he's trying to jump up on furniture or up on anything. I'll say no, off, and a lot of times, if he's across the room, I will clap to really deliver that point. But he never gets to put paws on me. It's also important that I don't step back if he's trying to jump, because as you notice, if I step back, he comes towards me. That's an invitation for him to come closer. So by stepping into him, we restrict the space and I back him up. So especially with kids, they start backing up, the dog wants to keep coming. So instead, it's important to stand our ground, step into him, bring that knee up, tell him off. Huh, buddy? Now, if I'm down at his level, come here, which I like to be down here, and I like to pet Colter and love on him, which is great. I love giving him this attention. But if he tries to jump up on me, or even if he puts one paw up here, I'm going to tell him no, off, and I will scoot him away. The important part is here, when I scoot him away, I don't want to keep petting him. It's not this weird little push, because Colter's like, oh, this is strange, but you're still petting me. So instead, I need to tell him no, off, and take away my hands. So by taking away my hands, my body language has adjusted, and this is a clear, it's a clear way to communicate with him that we don't like what he's doing. Then I'll wait for him to show that he's under control, then I can pet him again. But if he did it a second time, I'm going to stand up and remove myself from Colter. Very similarly, if I was down here petting him and he decided he wanted to mouth on me, so he wanted to put his teeth on my arm or my watch, or if, clothing, anything like that, I'm going to tell him no, and I will grab his muzzle. So I'm not clamping down, I'm not hurting him, but it's just a no, and then I take my hands away. And then I can go back to petting him once he shows he's in control. But if he does that a second time, if he puts his teeth on me, telling him no, and I'm standing up, removing myself. So this is the same thing if he wanted to chew on my shoelaces. I'm going to tell him no, grab that muzzle, take my hands away. If he's continually wanting to chew on something that's not his, whether that be your shoelaces or your pants, or maybe it's a rug, it's important to tell him no and give him something to chew on. I like to make sure that I have something available to replace. And I do try and match texture. Okay, good boy. So if he's trying to chew on something soft, like a pillow or a couch or something like that, I'm gonna give him something soft. If he's wanting to chew on a table leg or baseboards, I'm gonna give him something hard that he can really dig into. So I do like to have a variety of things to chew on. And Colter's gonna take that toy and go over to the rug. Come here. Oh, good boy. That was a good boy, but you forgot your toy. Come here, Colter. So I love to play with Colter. I love having things for him to chew on. It is important that while I'm playing with him, I work on our drop it command. So drop it is just as it sounds. I expect him to spit the thing out, whatever he has in his mouth, which if I can get him to stay over here, I will demonstrate. Come here. Okay, good boy. And as I mentioned, this has been one of the harder ones to work on, because if I am near, he just automatically lets it go. Come here. Colter, drop it. Good boy. Good boy. Huh. Here, we'll pull your bed out. Okay. Huh. So when I'm playing with him and I ask him to drop it, I tell him good, and then I can take the toy away. When he gets it back, I say okay, and then he's able to go and get it. The toy is always the reward when I'm playing with him. I never mix treats and toys. Colter, drop it. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Good. See, he offers this behavior a lot. Good dog. Okay. Colter, drop it. Good boy. Good boy. If it's something edible or gross, something he finds, when I ask him to drop it, I am going to give him a treat in return. But toys, he gets the treat or gets the toy back. Mr. Colter. So mealtime manners, anytime I feed Colter, I just shake that bowl and he will sit down. This is an automatic sit-stay for his food. So I shake that. If he stands up at all, that food bowl goes up and I will tell him no. But I shouldn't have to tell him to stay. No. So there he broke. He's kind of testing me. Okay, good boy. Once he shows that he's stable, then I will release him. Good boy, huh? Where he broke, I'm gonna do that again. I don't make a habit of taking his food away. I just let him eat in peace, because I would not like it if somebody came and took my food away. However, every once in a while, if he's being a little pushy or he kept breaking, I might do it twice. No, just to help solidify the expectation. Okay, good boy. So instead of taking it away, I do periodically like to come and put treats in his bowl or pet him. Just make it so that it's positive, or it's a positive experience with me being around him when he eats. Good boy. However, because we have a lot to go over, I'm not going to let you eat all your food because you already ate breakfast this morning. So if he breaks, pick that food bowl right back up. He doesn't get to eat if he's not going to hold that sit stay. Now, if he kept scooting closer to me while I was doing this, I would tell him no and step into him, ask for that sit, and then you can tell him stay if he continues to want to break. However, it should be an automatic behavior. Huh, buddy? You a good boy? Okay. Grooming and handling. So we have spent a lot of time helping him be comfortable with being brushed. He's going to get a bath before he goes home this morning. I trimmed around his eyes a little bit more. Last week we clipped his nails. So we've spent a ton of time handling him, making sure that he's comfortable. He's not going to throw a fit, and he's not going to be like aggressive. Huh, good boy, or nip me for handling him. Good dog. Anytime I put him through my shenanigans when I'm handling him, I do make sure to pay him tell him he's being a good boy, and reward him. But he is going to need groomed, so this needs to be something he's comfortable with. Teeth, so he started losing a few teeth. Good boy. But he is right in the heat of teething, so it is important to make sure that he has things to chew on. Otherwise, he's going to go find something to chew on, and we never like what he finds. Oh, good boy. So this is, once again, these are the things that we're going to focus on. We're going to make sure that he's not jumping, he's not chewing things up that he's not supposed to. He's waiting at doorways, waiting for his food, and just being an overall very polite little guy. So even with a bully stick, which is edible, it's high value, I should still be able to have him drop this. Colter, drop it. Good boy, good boy. Okay. So first 3 days, focus on the manners, make sure that he's sitting when you give him attention, and he's being a good boy. But now let's hop into our obedience commands. The first command I am going to show you is his place command. So when I ask Colter to go to his place, I'm going to be near. I'm going to say, Colter, place, and I will point. Once all 4 paws are on the bed, I will tell him good or good boy and give him that reward, that treat. Now, once I send Colter to his place, it is an expected stay. So he's doing a couple minutes right now with various distractions. So the harder the distraction, the more I will come over and reinforce this. So I'll come over and say, oh, good boy. For Colter, I like to reinforce it when he settles. I want this to be more of a calm command. I don't want him anticipating the release, because then he breaks. So when he breaks, I'm just going to tell him no, and I will step into him. If he comes all the way off, then I can say no, place, and send him back. So he is going to break. That's inevitable. It's part of having a puppy, as they make mistakes, but he never gets to end on that failure. I'm always going to help him succeed. And like I said, anytime he does settle, I want to reinforce that behavior. This. Good, good boy. Okay, good boy. Colter, place. Good. Now we're going to add a harder distraction here. I'm going to actually leave the room, leave his sight. Good, good boy. He stayed on his place. I'm going to reinforce it, tell him good. Now, as you work on this, add a lot of variations, add different distractions. The harder the distraction, the more I reinforce. The easier the distraction, the less I reinforce. But he is doing a couple minutes, and he's doing great. When we teach him a new place, you might have to lure him on, and then mark once he's on. So once all 4 paws are on, tell him good, and then release him, send him back on. So it kind of looks like this. Okay, Colter. So if this was a new place, come here. Obviously it's not, but I would say place. I'd lure him on. Good. Give him the reward. Okay, good boy, place. Send him back on, and then start to gently add more duration at that point. Okay, good boy. Place is my favorite command. Place gives him something to do where he's not underneath my feet. So you need to bring in groceries, send him to his place. You're doing dishes, send him to his place. Practice when somebody comes to the door, we send him to his place. So there's a lot of uses for it, just to help him have a job, but not be under our feet. Okay, good boy. Notice, no treat when he comes off. He only gets a treat when I send him there. Very similar to the place is the crate command. So I will tell him, Colter, crate, and I will point. Hey. So here, Colter thinks that I put him in a place, however I didn't, so I'm going to guide him off. Crate. Come here. Good, good boy. Okay, so here we saw Colter hesitating. Crate. Good boy. Okay, so I wondered, with him thinking that he was in place and standing on that side of the crate, there was a disconnect. For whatever reason, Colter was confused what we were asking, and so where I guided him off, he was a little bit unsure, acted like kind of a sad little puppy. Notice I wasn't firm with him. I simply said, I did tell him no, I believe. I corrected him, and then I guided him, gave him a little leash pressure towards the crate. I only said it once though. I didn't sit and repeat myself. Instead, I adjusted my body language to help him understand what I wanted. Colter, crate, and then I can point, and he goes in. Okay, good boy. So it's important in those situations not to get frustrated, but to slow down, see if maybe you can figure out what's causing his hesitation, and then help him figure it out. So I don't want to take away his processing ability, but instead I just want to help him understand what the expected behavior is and help him succeed. Colter, crate. Good boy. So once he goes in, I tell him good, give him a treat. Okay, and then okay to release him. But he doesn't get to come out until I release him. Colter, crate. Good boy. Okay, notice I'm not expecting him to stay in the crate for very long, because if I was going to have him stay in there for longer, I'm just going to shut the door. So I do want to practice this command far more than I use it to lock him up. Otherwise, you're going to get a dog that wants to run away from the crate because they don't want to get locked up. So practice it just to give him some rewards and make it a positive experience. Colter, come here. Colter, crate. Good boy. Okay, but that's a good example of how to help him work through some hesitation and help him understand what I'm asking for. With a new crate, I might even come over and actually stick my hand in the crate to help him understand what I'm asking. Good boy. Okay. Okay, so that's crate in place. Now we're going to go over sit, down, and stay. So sit, our hand signal is just like this. So I have a closed fist with my palm towards the sky, and it's just a little motion. So sit, down, I have a flat palm off to the side, and then stay is a stop sign. Now this is also what's considered a chain command. So I can go sit, down, stay, and then he gets a treat at the very end. So I don't need to treat him for sitting, for laying down, and then for staying. Colter, sit, down, stay. Now if any time Colter pops up, I'm going to tell him no and have him do it again. So he's not allowed to sit up out of a down stay. However, if I put him in a sit stay, I'm okay if he lays down. Okay, good boy. Right now with these stays, he's doing 20 seconds with, about moderate distractions. We've hit this point where we're starting to see exponential growth, so it's very easy to improve these and lengthen them. But once again, give him those 3 days to adjust before you start pushing harder commands on him. Stay. I don't think you saw it. There we go. Okay, good boy. 3 is an absurd amount of treats for that, huh? So I'm gonna pick him up. You can use food as a distraction though, just like that, throw it on the floor. Make sure that he's waiting. Come here, Colter. Sit, down. So if he hesitates, I'm gonna leave this hand signal here. Notice he's not even looking at my hand. Good. Stay. Colter sometimes will fixate on my other hand. So I do try and switch it up, what hand I treat him with, what hand I give commands with, because he will, like that, kind of get fixated on that hand. And it's like, hey, I'm giving you information over here. So that's why I snapped, helped him redirect his attention, and then helped him follow through. Notice I did not repeat the command though. Okay, good boy. Now, if I would have snapped and he still hesitated, Colter, come here. So if he was struggling here, I asked him for down and he wasn't doing it, I'm going to always start here. Good boy, okay. And then I will gradually get lower if needs be. But I don't want my down command to immediately go all the way to the floor. Good boy. Stay. Now, if I was working on these stays and he broke once or twice, I'm just going to tell him no and have him do it again. However, if he breaks a third time in a row, something's too hard, whether it's the distraction or the duration. It might be something that's going on internally. However, if he breaks 3 times in a row, I'm going to simplify the next one. I don't want him to break a 4th time. So instead, if I was asking for a 20-second sit stay and he kept breaking, my 4th one is going to be like a 5-second stay. It's going to be very simple just to help him succeed. Okay, good boy. That way he doesn't get frustrated and we don't get frustrated. And then I might say, you know what, we've been at this for a little while, let's be done because we ended on that success. Or I might say, hey, I know that you can do this. We did it yesterday, and then I might build back up to that, but I will take it slow. I won't just jump in right back into the harder command. Oh, good boy. Okay, so sit, down, stay. Got place and crate. Now I'm going to do a leave it command. So I'm going to get my high value treats out of the fridge here, which were pretty slim. I need to cut some more. So for high values, I use like ham, cheese, hot dogs, anything like that. But the reason I'm getting my high values is because I am going to now demonstrate leave it, which I'm going to have him leave the food that he has been currently eating. So we use leave it for anything that he doesn't already have in his mouth, because if he already has it in his mouth, it's a drop it, and then I can ask for the leave it. But I use leave it for anything that I can take away from Colter, or I can take Colter away from. So this could be something gross on a walk. It could be something you dropped in the kitchen that you don't want him to get. So leave it means leave it permanently. He's not allowed to go and check it out even after a minute. So I'm going to take a hold of the leash where I am using the treats that he's currently been eating and preparing myself that he may lunge for it, because this is going to be a hard distraction or a hard one to do. So I'm going to drop these treats here, leave it. So there, I gave him a little pressure because he was quick to go for it. Good boy. But now, notice he's looking at me. He's a quick little guy, so that was, you almost made it there. But where I said leave it, he's expected to leave it alone permanently. He can't go for it even if I start to walk away. Good boy. And I will continue to, no, leave it. Good. I will continue to reward him as he continues to leave it alone. And if he goes for it again, I will say, no, leave it. Good boy, good boy. So this is one that I practice a lot. I really like to practice it on walks, and it doesn't even have to be something gross. It could be garbage. As soon as Colter notices it, I'm just going to say, leave it. Good boy, good boy. Good. Yeah, you thought about it, huh? Say, this is the hard one. So once again, obviously he notices it, but he's not allowed to go and get it. And he's not even going to be allowed to go and pick them up or eat them after we're finished. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see, is we teach our dog that we can put treats on their paws or on their nose, tell them to leave it, and then 5 seconds later we say, okay, and then they're able to eat them all. And that teaches them, well, if I wait long enough, I'll eventually be able to get it. So I want leave it to be just a complete, forever forbidden, off limits type of deal. Good boy. Now, even my hands being here, no, leave it. Like that. He kind of got pushy. I kind of just slid him back. So this is when it's the hardest, is when I'm picking it up, because my hands are there and he's used to receiving treats from my hands. Good. Okay. Once it's gone, then I'll say, okay, give it to him. So that's leave it. Now I am going to adjust my camera angle so that I can take advantage of a little bit larger space in the room, and we will go over our leash work. During that section, we're going to cover our heel, what to do if he's pulling, engagement, and then our long lead walk, as well as our recall command. So let me switch the camera around and we'll go to continue at that point. heel. Good boy. Okay, so we're going to talk about Colter's heel. So the heel is for you. This is not how we exercise Colter. Good boy. This is how we get from point A to point B. I use the heel when I'm walking past distractions, whether that be another person on the street, another dog, a jogger, a bush, it doesn't matter. Anything that might be distracting to Colter and I just need to get past, I need to get from point A to point B, I use the heel. So my expectation, good boy, is that Colter is by my side, he's on my left side, by my knee. I don't care if he's half a step in front of me or half a step behind, but he needs to be paying attention to me. Good boy. And he needs to be matching my pace. Good dog. So if I'm going to expect Colter to keep his attention on me, even when there's a distraction, I need to give him feedback. Good boy. That's why I'm just telling him he's doing a good job. And I'm paying him while he's looking at me and he's walking polite. Heel. Good boy. I will also repeat this command when I change directions or when I start again. So if I stop, I expect Colter to stop and sit down. Good boy. And then when I start again, I'll say heel and I'll start walking. Like I said, if I pick up my pace, I expect Colter to pick up his pace. If I slow down, I expect Colter to slow down. Good boy. Obviously, we are inside and there's no distractions around. So this is kind of how I want you to start. So also, this is a short leash, but I only give him maybe 2 feet of space. I want it short so that I can give him quick feedback. I want you to start practicing somewhere with very limited distractions. Because out of everything that we've taught Colter, the heel is the one that will take the most time to transition over. And that is because he needs to have a good relationship with you before he's going to offer a good heel. He needs to know that you're going to take care of him. He needs to know that these distractions that he sees don't matter because you're in charge. And so you need to develop the relationship first. This is also why we're going to start with limited distractions so you can focus on rewarding him and building this reputation of paying him when he ignores things and when he's walking politely. So start out simple and gradually get harder over the next month or 2. Instead, we're going to walk him on a long lead. That's how we're going to exercise him. So this is not exercise. This is just a mentally challenging activity because he has to ignore the world around him and focus on you. So when you do it, give him a lot of feedback, give him a lot of praise and attention. Good boy. Colter has a great heel. He's not a dog that likes to go off and explore very often. He instead wants food, and so if you pay him, he's going to stay next to you. He has a great heel, and he hangs out with me all the time. However, at some point, he's going to get distracted and start to pull. He might even get reactive because he's unsure of his environment. So both pulling and reactivity we treat in a similar way. So if Colter just got a little distracted, he noticed something in the distance and maybe he started to pull, maybe started to ignore you a little bit, get attention or get further in front of you, I'm going to start by trying to get his attention. And so step 1 in this scenario is just saying his name, maybe some kissy noises. It's like, hey, Colter, oh, good boy, and rewarding him when he puts that attention back onto you. If that didn't work, if he maybe even gave you a glance and continued to pull forward, maybe there was another dog and Colter really wanted to go check him out, then I'm going to correct him. So I would say no, and I would put a little slack in the leash so that I could pop it. So no, pop, pop. Those pops are up, they're not back. I'm not going to yank him backwards because I use leash pressure to let him know which way I'm going. If I'm going to turn into him, I pull back. If I'm going to turn this way, I give him pressure this way. If I'm going to turn that way, a little pressure that way. If I want him to stop and sit, I give him a little pressure back. So I use leash pressure to relay information. So my correction needs to be different. That's why I want to step in and pop, pop. Now, if I gave him that, no, pop, pop, he refocused on me, I would tell him good boy, and after a step or 2, I would pay him. But if he ignored that or he went right back to pulling, then I will correct him one more time. So no, pop, pop. He continues, no, pop, pop. So I get firmer. You don't have to say pop. We're popping the leash, but I'm not correcting him because he's doing nothing wrong. So no, pop, pop. If that didn't work, if I tried that twice and he is still pulling, or maybe he fixed his mistake but then went back to pulling, then I am going to come to a complete stop. We are never progressing towards a distraction if he is pulling. So I will stop, I will have him sit, and I will get his attention. And this is where my course will divide. If he's just pulling, he's not reacting, then I will stop, I will get his attention, and then I will try and walk again. And if he starts to pull again, I will turn and walk the opposite direction. And I will go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, working on this heel, helping him understand that he needs to pay attention to me. But if he got reactive, so he started barking or he started trying to get away from whatever it was, and this could honestly be anything. It could be another dog, it could be a person, it could be a tree. Whatever it is, Colter feels uncomfortable, he's a little bit nervous, so he's getting reactive. Bark, 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 bark. At this point, I come to my complete stop and I put myself between him and the distraction, and I work on getting his attention back. So now I'm no longer going to try and walk him past the distraction. Instead, I'm going to basically do the opposite, where I'm going to get some distance from the distraction. So that might be 3 feet off the sidewalk, or it might be 20 feet down the road. There's always an amount of distance I can get to help him come out of that red zone and start to engage with me a little bit more. So come here. So if I had to, I would step in front of him, maybe walk him back, get him on the other side of me, so that way my back is towards the distraction. Now my body language is saying, you don't need to worry about that. And I am going to reward simple victories. You're not pulling anymore? Good boy. You're not barking? Good boy. You're sitting? Good dog. I'm going to sit here and reward very, very simple behaviors. I might even use a watch me command. So watch me is just to get eye contact. Watch me. Okay, good boy. So even there, he shifted his eyes, met mine. It was just a split second. I mark and reward that. Now, as he comes out of that red zone, he's starting to relax. He's paying attention to me. Then I open up and I want to watch the distraction. So this is how we build confidence. We can observe without interact. And it's just, oh, good dog, you're calm. Good boy, let's watch this distraction go past. Oh, you're really calm now? Let's try and walk back this way. Come on. I also like to just set up opportunities for engagement. We also call it the art of doing nothing. So if I can go somewhere with a park bench where we can sit down and just watch the world go by, we will. And I'm just rewarding him for being calm, rewarding him for being a good boy. And that way we're building confidence, and I'm teaching him that if there's a distraction, he should look to me for information. He should be calm because I'm going to take care of it. And I'm going to pay him when he's calm. So that's what we do with pulling and engagement. Most likely, because he's going to undergo some stress, you are going to see him react within the first week. And so when he does, we just need to take a step back, help him relax, help him feel secure in your relationship, and feel secure that you are going to take care of him. But we are never going to run away from a distraction or run to a distraction. We need to be calm, and we need to allow that distraction to leave. And once again, the heel is for you, and the goal is that as he builds more of a relationship with you, we can use this heel to walk past other people or other dogs or any distraction that you might encounter. In the meantime, while you're practicing this, we still want to be able to exercise Colter, and so the long lead is how we do that. Long lead walk is my favorite way to exercise a dog. We can work on the recall while we do it. It's really enjoyable to him. Okay, outside, and first we're going to go to the bathroom. Okay, good boy. Okay, good boy. So, this is one of my shorter long leads. This one's 15 feet. I think this length is great for maybe around the neighborhood, or we use this when we go up to campus or at the park. If I can give him more space, I love to use a little bit longer of a long lead. However, for inside this room, this is a great length, and once again around the neighborhood. So when I go on this type of walk, Colter can stop and sniff and check things out. Like, this is honestly just for him to be a dog, to sniff, to play, and I'm gonna go at his pace. However, he's still not allowed to pull. I do get used to, switching hands with the long lead, stepping over it. I am a little bit ADHD, so I sit here and reel it in when he comes close. When he goes further, I let it out. And when he hits the end of it, I call him back to me. So my recall is, Colter, come. Good boy. Okay. So obviously it's hard to show in here because we have a limited amount of space. However, when I call him to come, I'm going to say his name. There's going to be a brief pause. Then I will give the recall command. So I use his name to get my attention, and then I use the word come to have him come towards me. If he's ignoring me, or if he didn't even flinch when I said his name, I will say his name again before I ask him to come. Colter, come. Good boy. Okay. Notice the moment that he starts to come towards me, I say, good boy. So I'm encouraging him to keep coming to me, keep doing what he's supposed to, and then when he gets to me, it's okay. I give him a treat, and then he's free to go about whatever he was doing. So if he was checking something out, I can call him back just to let him go back to whatever it was. If he ignores me, I have the long lead to reel him in, which what I do is I'll tell him no, I'll give him pressure, and then I'll release that pressure once he starts to actually come towards me. So I'm going to set him up. We're going to pretend that I had called him to come and he ignored me. So if he did, the correction would just look like this. No. Good boy. Okay. So I said no. I gave him pressure, and then he responded to that by coming towards me. So once he did that, I said good boy and rewarded him. So in a failed recall, you're going to use all three markers. No. Good. Okay. Good boy. So he's going to get all of it. He never gets away with ignoring me, and I'm not going to just sit there and tug on him. It's you have to respond or I'm going to reel you in like a fish. And if I have to reel you in, then now you're staying close, and we're going to practice this every couple feet. I want to practice this recall a lot. I want to make it enjoyable so that it is a command that I can use and know that Colter's going to respond right off the bat. So that's why I want to keep it positive, and I want to practice with the long lead. Because at some point he's going to be off leash, and you want to make sure that he's reliable with coming to you. So we do a lot of off leash walks here. Colter has a great recall. He's done great. However, if we were out here on a walk and he ignored my recall off leash, I'm going to tell him no, go and get him, and then I would put him back on the long lead and practice. So no matter what, he never gets to ignore me. I'm not going to go, you didn't respond, I will get you later. Because the moment we do that, we ruin our recall command. So even if he was off leash, I am going to tell him no and go and get him. With Colter, he loves us so much, and he loves treats and people, that I can use some reverse psychology. So if he ignored me, I might just go, Colter, come here, come on, hey, good boy, and he's going to follow me. Good dog. However, if he ignored me, I'm going to tell him no, start walking towards him. If I got 75% of the way there, and then he's like, oh, hey, what are you doing? And started to come towards me, I'm going to stop walking. I'm going to tell him, good boy, and start walking backwards. Good dog. And reward him. So even if I went 99% of the way there, but this last 3 feet he looked at me and came towards me, I'm going to tell him, good boy, have him follow me, good dog, so I can reward him and help him understand what the correct behavior is. If I got all the way to him, I would tell him no, take his collar, hook a leash on, and then say, no, come, good boy, and reward him as he follows me, and we're going to work on that command. So once again, I always train to success. If they fail, I am going to correct them, but then I'm going to help him understand what the expected behavior was. The recall, it is very, very important that we help him succeed there. And I'm never going to use my recall to reprimand or punish him, even if he was doing something he's not supposed to. If he was digging, I'm going to tell him no and go and get him. I'm not going to call him to come and then reprimand him, because nobody wants to come to somebody if they know they're going to get in trouble. So instead, we preserve our recall, and we're always positive with that. Good boy. So that's Colter's demonstration. As you've went through this, I'm sure you have some questions, so don't hesitate to let me know. Colter's a good little dog. He's done good. Huh? You're a good boy. He does have some energy though, and as you can see, he locks in, and he is very, very motivated to train and to do anything if food's involved. So, but he's done a great job, and if you have any questions, please let me know. But I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to train Colter.